Challah, Perek Beis, Mishnah Ches. We've learned previously in the first Perek that one can only take challah if one had, for example, two doughs. One can take challah from one dough on behalf of the other dough, on behalf of both doughs. But this was only, as mentioned in Mishnah Tes, Perek Aleph, it must be min hamukov. It must be in close proximity. We've also learned that one should take challah, there's a chiyuv to take challah, not just from dough which is tahira, but also from dough which is tamea, and give it to the kohen. The kohen won't be able to consume that challah, but he can derive benefit from it. We learned that because the two doughs must be in close proximity to be able to take from one dough onto the other, if one dough was tamea and one dough was tahira, one is not allowed to take from the dough which is tahira on behalf of the dough which is tamea, because we're scared that they may touch each other and then the dough, the isa, which is tahira, would become tamea. In this Mishnah, we find Rabbi Eliezer, who disagrees with the comment we've made in the earlier Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer says, Niteles min hatoher al hatomei. One can take challah from dough which is tahira on behalf of dough which is tamea. In fact, even more than that. We mentioned that the two doughs must be in close proximity to be able to take from one dough to the other. In the case of the tahira and tamea doughs, they must actually be touching. In which case, says the Mishnah Ketzad, how is this going to be possible that both doughs should touch without making the dough tamea? Says the Mishnah, Isa tahira v'isa tamea, if one had a dough which is tahira and a dough which is tamea, noitel kedei challah mi isa shelo hurma chalosa. One should take dough which would now become challah, but don't yet designate it as challah. The quantity one would need for challah, and we explained previously this would be a 24th or a 48th of the doughs that one's taking challah for. Depending if one's selling professionally, then the shir is a 48th. So take the required challah from dough shelo hurma chalosa, from dough where challah hasn't yet been taken, because otherwise one cannot take challah from dough where challah has already been taken on behalf of another dough. So take challah from the isa shelo hurma chalosa, from the dough, the tahor dough, where challah hasn't yet been taken, the required shear, don't yet designate it as challah, and then noisein pochos mikabetza boemtza, have the dough which is tamea, the dough which is tahira, bring them close to each other, but in between place another dough which is smaller than the shear of a kabetza, so that this will now be in between the two doughs, so the small dough less than the size of a kabetza in between, and make those two doughs, the dough which is tamea and the dough which is tahora, touch the small dough in between. As the small dough in between is less than the shear of a betza, it cannot convey tumah from the dough which is tamea to the dough which is tahora, but they're also touching. Then one takes the dough which has been separated but not designated the required shear for challah, place that just on top of that small dough in between, so it's touching. So we now have the dough which is tamea touching the small dough, the dough which is tahora touching the small dough, and also the challah, not yet designated as challah, touching that small dough, and the tumah will not convey itself. The tumah will not convey itself to any of those other doughs. One then removes the challah, which one has previously said would be the challah, and calls it challah, and of course it therefore had remained tahira. Continues the Mishnah, Kedei sheyitel min hamukaf, because one has this small dough in between, less the size of a beitza, all those doughs are touching, they are considered in close proximity, and the challah has remained tahira. However, as we've seen in the earlier Mishnah, Perek Aleph, Chachomim Oisrim, Chachomim say it's forbidden to take from dough which is tahira on behalf of dough which is tamei, because we are scared that maybe those two doughs will actually touch each other, and therefore the challah would become tamei.